Welcome back to In Conversation, where we keep you updated on the budget presentations. And we just watched a beautiful presentation by one of our parliamentarians, none other than Miss Nima Flue-Bess. Welcome.
Hi, nice to be here.
Like the presentations we have seen, this is no exception from our side. It was beautifully put together. And I particularly loved how you started your conversation because many times we see the PPP going down a particular line, and sometimes, like you did in fine style, you brought them to memory lane so they
Yes.
don't think that we forgot. Let's talk about how you went down that memory lane in the beginning of your speech.
Well, after listening to Ashley Singh presented his speech, and between his speech, he went on about abusing the APNU and what we did and all these things. I thought it best to remind this nation that it was under the PPPC government that we lost 400 youths, especially of African descent, when they had the extrajudicial killings. That is not something that we should forget. Many of our African brothers and sisters seems to run around not paying attention to this information, but that's critical information because it affects the lives of our people. You know, as if to lose within a period of 1997 to 2012, 400 youths, mainly of African descent. That has serious implication on our generation. Secondly, you hear Edgel again in his presentation before mine spoke about lawlessness and instilling the rules. Who, like I asked them, who instilled the rules when it comes to government officials and their level of lawlessness? We have no answers to that. So they're supposed to be enforcing the rules. And the next thing, we have these ministerial overreach. Ministers always getting involved in things they shouldn't. And using their powers to marginalize people, victimize people. And, people tend to forget these things. And I like the particular phrase, lest we forget. We should not forget our history, because sometimes we tend to forget history. We tend to repeat the exact mistake. And so with a PPPC government, every opportunity given, I believe people should remind them of the things they do. PPP is responsible for the destruction of Cane View in 2023. They will tell people, oh, we are final land and all these things. No, that's not the point. You went down an inhumane way of destroying African people. 9 families you destroy by doing what? Bulldozing plus digging and burying the evidence to say, okay, Cane View never existed. That's wickedness. That's the act of the PPPC government. And that cannot change. That is history. We have all these fires, school burned down, this happened, that. Who explain? All these fires usually takes place under PPPC government. And so I think it is important. And then with Edgel's speech, he reminded me of a part of history that we forget. He said that, the PPP don't give people burden, and they bring relief for the people. But saying that the taxes and the VAT that persons paying, and they have reduced the VAT, but who brought the VAT?
Correct.
PPPC government. And that is something that we need to remind our people in Guyana. History is there for record and for remembrance, and to remind us that if we forget our history, we will go down right back and repeat it in the current situation. So for me, I really enjoyed that moment, reminding them. And then I also remind them about the elections.
Yeah.
People are sitting down saying, PPP won the election. Did anybody see official results published
Not at the
by
moment.
GCOM and signed off? At least I can recall seeing one. And I am quite sure if the PPPC government had seen one, they would have jumped down my throat when I said that you were talking about a landslide victory. When we experienced them creating new citizens fly-by-night style, I recall, and this particular picture,
Yes.
with the bus, this bus was driven by military personnel, dropping off men who cannot speak English to vote at Diamond on elections day. So if they're talking about landslide victory, they're talking about this. I also reference this photo. You know, Mocha Arcade is predominantly a community of African descent. These two men brought in a set of Indian nationals to our community to vote. Now, all of that part is why they can stand and say they're celebrating a landslide victory. But how you get this landslide victory? And so this also form parts of their history in government. And they must be reminded of it.
I love that. I love that. Your focus, of course, today was on youth sports and culture, and you ensure that you began with culture and speaking to the inefficiencies of the government in, allowing the culture of Guyana to be developed in a way where people shouldn't fear. And you made mention of, people having to suck up to the government to be even a part of anything that happens in that sector. Let's talk about that.
Yes, I spoke about culture because the reality on the ground is this government is very ceremonial. They come up with things, they manufacture an idea and they run with it and say, oh, this is what we will do for the people. But in essence, it's not to benefit the people. We have records or the information in the parliament where a heritage commission was supposed to be set up. There are documents that it never happened. But you're using what exists. And so now the government comes with this thing, okay, they're doing advancing the orange economy, and they have this task force that the president has put in place that will work to probably complete, I don't know, rules, guidelines, whatever it is in these areas. My question is, why is it that we cannot use what exists? There's a document for a heritage commission to be set up. And I believe if that commission is set up, it will help a whole lot in the creative industry. But they want that. So they come to this task force. I don't know if the task force is being paid. That's a question I would want to find out during the interrogation of the budget estimates. And I don't know if they're supposed, they're coming up with medium and long-term, medium plans, I think. I don't know how that is supposed to impact the industry. Now, what is really happening for our creatives in Guyana? If this government is serious, and I repeat it, if this government is serious about developing the orange economy, all the years we have arts, we have dance, we have theater, the plays and all these things. We have it, it exists. But we recognize that our laws are outdated. They need to be updated with what's happening. You got digital content creators and all these things now that would not have been covered in this 1966 law. I'm looking for the document I had with it. And why is it that they're not making an effort to address the copyright legislation? You know why? Because they're known to copy people's work. They're known to take things that doesn't belong to them. So when they have this task force playing and doing whatever they have to do, people's ideas will be stolen. Just like how they have the 1 million grant that they used to give out, the creative industry grant. Where you see persons complain bitterly over the years that they would have submitted ideas, some proposal, they didn't get you the money, but then they see the same ideas being used for something else. The government is not pushing for copyright legislation, updated copyright legislation, so that these individuals in the creative industry, our fashion designers, our artists, the music industry, those who do painting, drawings, writing, they're not pushing for that. So what you find, I spoke to an artist the other day and he said, he just be so scared to put out his work in public that he just find money and pay to get his work copyright in the United States before he even tried to put anything in the papers. Because he spoke of his experience of putting out work and then you see the government use it for something. When you ask them, what happened? We getting no royalties from this thing. We getting nothing. Nobody got nothing to tell you. And then you can't go to the court and fight them because there's nothing legally protecting the artists. And so I believe if this government is serious, and the artists themselves need to push that copyright legislation be updated in Guyana. They need to push for that for their own protection, because you can find people doing stuff and then somebody else come with a bright idea and own it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
And then you, with your creative ideas, your efforts you put into it, doesn't actually receive any benefit from your hard work and commitment. So it is very, very important that we have that. And like I've pointed out, the culture industry has become so politically dominated with the government, artists trying to please government.
Yeah.
And I always say this, and I've said it to several artists, your skills and your talents were gifted to you by God for using. And you shouldn't allow anybody to take advantage of your skills, your gifts, your talent that the Lord has blessed you with, so that you can actually earn with it. You shouldn't allow yourself for somebody else to just take control and dominance over your God-given skills and talent, and they're making good of it, and you're not even benefiting from it. It makes no sense. You got to stand up.
Correct. And I mean, one of your colleagues, I can't remember if it was Miss MP McDonald or MP Jordan, made mention that, I mean, if we had those laws, the government couldn't bring that team budget because it would have been somebody else's work that they were stealing. And we saw as well last year the young lady who came from the US, and the brawl that she had with the minister on social media over what she deemed as her work, that they shift her out and then went ahead with everything that she gives. So we've seen it. You later went on to talk about youth and, the framework for sportsmen and women. And let's talk about that, the development of youth.
Well, and for the youths, the ministry touts boldly that they have these skills training program for young people. Well, I normally do my groundwork. So I visit these institutions and I would interact with young people who are part of the program. The first thing, many of these programs, if they started by registering 50 youths, 20 might complete the program. The reason why, a lot of those young people, some of them are financially challenged. They might get a stipend, but the stipend might barely cover a 2 or 3 day passage.
Yeah.
Many of the youths, the government, Ramson especially, Charles Ramson, changed the program at the Training Institute here in Sophia, where I don't know. I still can't fathom. How can someone actually become a carpenter in 4 months, a skilled carpenter in 4 months? How can somebody become a skilled welder in 4 months? And all these other things that they've changed to 4 months. And the question that bothers my mind, who is it that they're actually setting up to fail? Because I attend the institute, I do 4 months training in electrical, 4 months training, whatever, and I get a cardboard if I get a piece of paper to say that I went to this institute. Now, when you go on the workforce, at the workplace, that is your time to show what you've learned. Many times you talk to contractors who would have employed persons doing jobs, and they say the young people come with little knowledge. We know that back in the days when things were right, even at University again, still now they do it, and the institute, GTI, when you finish a training, you gotta go to work studies. You remember work studies?
Yes, correct.
Where you go and you practice the skills that you've learned in the workplace. Tell me how you training and practicing in 4 months. I ain't get the logics. I see it. And based as an educator in the system, you're setting up the youths to fail. Added to that, imagine in the budget, The ministry projects that they will train 13,000 plus youths, but only 60% of them will be employed.
Right.
And the same thing they did last year.
Yeah.
When you tally last year and this year, they're actually saying that there will be about 10,500 youths who are unemployed, but they're trained,
Yeah.
but they can't find a job. So what is it that you're doing? I would expect that in budget 2026, there is some allocation there to assist these young people. And simple ideas. You're training welders. You're training persons in carpentry. Now, again, if there was a network between ministries, a lot of things can happen.
Yeah.
From these same skills training programs, they're so confident that these young people have the skills, they should set up, if it's a repair team,
Yes. To work.
to work. So like all them schools that
Yeah.
we got broken furniture
Yes.
that could be fixed, that might need painting, they might got some electrical thing to do. Set up teams from the same institute for those young people and let that be their work, study, practice, and employment. So you have them moving around. You put up a couple teams in Georgetown because Georgetown is big. You have a lot of schools.
Yeah.
So you could put them in the same clusters and stuff like that, and they would move through every day. I know in the school system, plumbing is a serious issue. We see one, the comrades share the thing with the toilet. Toilet pipes are always loosen out. Flush tanks stop working and so forth. You say you're teaching plumbing, this is what they're still doing.
Yeah.
Now, from that same program,
You should.
set up young people into teams and let them move around the country. Say, you got a plumbing team for the Avenue, Wolford Avenue with all the schools. You have two plumbing teams in South Georgetown for all the schools. And you could even got more than one team. You could got a team that will deal with secondary school. You got a team that could deal with primary schools in the area and one that could deal with nursery. And that will eliminate many of the challenges they have. And it also provides opportunity for these young people to earn. They got to pay them properly. But you know what? If they do that, many of the friends, family, and favorites who get these contracts wouldn't benefit from it. And so they prefer that they have the young people unemployed and boldly write it in the budget book that 40% of these young people are going to be unemployed. So even if they train 13,000, note that 40% of those young people, they will not get a job. So why is it that you're not putting forward plans and suggestions that can actually bring the young people from that place to another place?
Well, I think you said it best, and you hammered it in and repeated. Development without planning is not progress. It's stressing.
Guessing,
that
definitely
is, and guessing, right? We heard a rebuttal coming because they were irritated by you talking about all these grounds that they boast of. And it is incomplete. And we heard the junior minister coming out carrying on because you said that. Let's speak to that.
I call this my table of distortion. I have 2025 projects listed and 2026 listed. Now, you come up with all these lists of projects. It's not me, the ministry. 2025, the list of projects that were supposed to be completed, and this is based on early in the year, January 2025, after the budget and after the last budget. They said Mackenzie Stadium at January last 2025. They said the two stands are expected to be completed within 2 months with bucket seats installed by May. January 2026, Mackenzie Stadium, incomplete. Anna Regina Stadium, auxiliary works are being completed with the site expected to be handed over to the government soon. We're going on with Anna Regina Stadium. Nothing. It's still in Hanover. It's still in done. Bayrock Ground, the football field installation is in progress with the synthetic track completed since 2024. I want people to know that this government will be opening, they plan to open Bayrock, I think it's Saturday the 7th.
Yes, he said that on the floor, that they want it, they will have it.
But I want people to know it will be an old stadium opening as new. And when I say that, the track already damaged because the track
Wow.
down since 2 years ago, since 2024.
Wow.
So if you walk there, you would see the track peeling out, dry rot, everything.
Wow.
So that's what the guy didn't open. It looked like the spray a little paint, it looked bright. But it's not in good condition. New Amsterdam Stadium, I was there. The stadiums are being completed and the tendering process for the parking and the fencing is ongoing. And I went there, they just take down a couple seats. The track wasn't done as yet, and that was November 2025. It incomplete. Palmyra Stadium, I got all my photos since November 2025. It's still in the same position. Nothing has happened since then. Then we have these multi-purpose halls, and I want the public to know these projects were supposed to be finished in 2025.
Yes.
Construction at Lenora, the multi-purpose hall, sports hall, is not completed. Letem, not completed. Mabaruma, the minister talked up big inside the parliament about Mabaruma project. He went and he took out picture. What happened in November last year? Project cancel. Contract cancel. Why? Because the contract didn't do nothing. Just because we went all in the air and pose up on the plot and say how we at Madia multi-purpose site, the same way it left. Then you have another place in Bartico. Same thing, community grounds. Last year, they said that 450 community grounds were rehabilitated. I recall Ramson presenting a list of 90 grounds. It had 450 grounds because if you go on the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports page, you're going to see 490 grounds. Yeah, maybe he like show off, he like take out picture. There's a picture minister. Why you want to see 450 grounds in all the pictures? Because it's new. He loves to show off. He's a bigot. So why is it that you saying in the budget, you completed 450 grounds? I can't find 450 grounds on his posting on the page because I just save all. And it ain't reach there. It ain't nothing close to though. Now you coming to tell me and the Guyanese people. And this Guyanese got to pay attention to these things. These people is lie. I can't say lie in the parliament, but I could say that publicly.
You can say it here.
They lie.
Yeah.
And they lie bareface. You come with a list of projects in 2026. Now, none of these projects in 2025 ain't complete. But you come to tell me that in 2026, we got the Palmyra Cultural Market. And this hub will serve as a creative expression and cultural education. Go in the budget with the fine keep coming and see. It ain't even start properly. The National Museum and Art Gallery. This is supposed to be a state-of-the-art facility for collection and displays of Guyanese cultural heritage. We're going to have it in the National Museum.
Yeah.
When last it had a good facelift with some paint. When last it go in and fix up and spruce up the museum. We have a very good national museum, but it's not being properly kept. They need some paint on the building. Every year, them buildings should be painted and, spruce up and all these things. You ain't doing that. But you're going to build a new National Museum and Art Gallery. I think this guy in Region 6, I don't know what they care in this one, because when you go through the budget, there's no explanation, no detail where the project will turn up. Now, they talk about music studio. Up to now, one of the distorted projects, they say there's a studio in Bushlot in Region 6. I went to Bushlot. I can't find the stadium. I sent people in Bushlot to go and find the stadium. They don't know. I asked officials where this stadium, this studio is located. Nobody knows.
Phantom Stadium.
Yes. But how much $1 million was spent, and you ain't got no evidence of this state-of-the-art studio. And again, I tell people, yeah, one of Ramson the Lion, go on the page and show me where you find images of the Region 6 music studio. They don't keep nothing inside. He like to show off. How come he pose up in the studio, pose up in the front of the studio, throw out a picture to say, This is the studio that we have, this state-of-the-art studio. I wrote some questions asking how many artists actually use the
The
studio
studio
in Bushlot. Why would you go and put a music studio in Bushlot
where
when
you
you're
don't
not a
have
studio in
artists.
Georgetown?
And you don't have
And with
artists
the
that we
artists
know
there.
of in the
That's
area.
that's the thing. And then you got they're talking about these other studios to open. Beira, the last time we visited was just a little concrete thing around it. It had a roof. Me not forget roof now. Reliance and iFlood. I'm going to find them. I want to see what it look like. It must be another square concrete thing and left like that, if anything at all. And then they're telling us that they're gonna be commissioning some new stadiums, right? And this is to deal with sports tourism and regional competitiveness. Now, I would believe that these stadiums will be New Amsterdam, Bay Rock, Palmyra, and all of this. I think is Studio
Correct.
Mackenzie, because you can't put here new stadiums. You thinking that it's some new stadiums again in make. So last year projects gonna come over this year, and this again these people need to understand. These people try to fool people every year with these information. Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. Many times the money is allocated going to pay for old, incomplete projects. Simple. Then I got some powerlifting and high performance conditioning facility that's supposed to open. I saw the same minister who went bumping the gum just now, trying to say whatever he's saying. In one of these communities in Georgetown, how they do kind of this powerlifting and high performance conditioning facility. My question is, I wonder why they choose the area, how many persons are involved in powerlifting, because I would want to know you're going to build a facility in an area where you don't got people doing the sport. Or they in close proximity to doing this sport, because you want the people in the community say, oh, the government come and build this thing, hey, they're gonna put it there. We need to see better feasibility study.
Right.
They got some cricket academy that is supposed to be developing for training cricket. It will be quite interesting to see when these projects will actually be completed. We are now in February 2026, and I can bet the half of it can be completed in 2026. And they can come next year with the biggest budget ever again, and they can put back a new list of projects and try for ducking the old ones in between.
I noted that in the junior minister defense of these projects, that he could not say any was completed, but then he boasted to say it will be. Watch, we will give it to you. We'll give it to you. But as you're pointing out here, you have been giving it to us about 2 years now,
More than 2 years,
and it's not completed. And then he's now telling about opening the Bay Rock in February here, and as you outlined the issues that already hold with that, and then he boasts of he doesn't need to read anything when he said that, just like you said earlier. You don't have to read when you're custom lying. You know, it just rolls off your tongue, smooth and crisp.
I'm disappointed in that junior minister. I expected better presentation, and I expected him to be more open-minded and would have tried to stay away from the political lies.
And I noted here he talked about the housing development, and if I were him, I would have stayed away from that one, because this country knows the corruption that he himself is involved in the housing development, and how they give it to the friends, the family, when they were finished building it. And now he's a sitting minister. He wasn't a minister then, but now he's a sitting minister. So
the irony.
The irony indeed. As you wrapped up, of course, and like the statement I read earlier, you kept pounding it over. Development without planning is not progress, it is stressing. Can you sum up for us how you feel about budget 2026 under the team putting people first?
let me be frank about budget 2026. I have predicted before the budget comes that Guyanese people will actually benefit. So you put $6 billion for sports, you put 1.2 for youth, you put 3.7 for culture. But only, when you sum up those, only 5.3% of that money will actually go into the hands of whether they're artists, whether they're athletes and stuff like that. They haven't said in the budget, let's say I'm a writer and I would like to have some monies to publish my book. Where or how can I access funds to publish my book? I see where the funds are really coming from, because when you do the breakdown and you fine tune it, you don't recognize that. Secondly, you talk about and I like to challenge them on the words, this orange economy. The first thing they should do is if they're serious about helping in the orange economy, work on the legislation, fine. But when you talk about people, all them artists that want to do a little show, so give them free venues to do it. Let the government give them free venues. So they're going to remove one expense from them. Let them ensure they got equipment available, because we have spent a lot of money on equipment. A lot of the money is about the infrastructure in the budget. But people want actually for persons to benefit, what you could hold, what you can get. That doesn't speak, that's not there in this budget. So it doesn't speak to people-centered budget, putting people first. If you're putting people first, as an artist, I must be able to walk into Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture with a proposal and get some assistance. I mustn't hear, oh, you vote for me and all these things. They're making sense. I shouldn't be going through a whole long red tape. And this was saying just how easy drugs are accessible to youths. Our system must be accessible to people. One of the points I wasn't able to make during the budget presentation is the senior citizen. You know, when people promise elderly people something, what does it do?
They look
forward for it. Now, Irfan went and spoke at his rally that, we will increase, big announcement, old age pension to $60,000. Now you come with $46,000. What have they done to seniors? In their mind, they think they do not know. But I know that announcement would have affected a lot of seniors because they were looking forward, they were planning, and then they're jail. In the house, add more stress to the people, and Sonia, because you telling the people, and go use the system. How much how much elderly people ever go at a hospital to sit down 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to get a simple ultrasound, or to collect some medication? You gotta wait for your name call, and the person who got call your name on the phone, or they got to go out and come back. And you sit down there. When the elderly person might have to take $1,000 and go pick up the medication in less than 15 minutes and go back. Have they really thought about the stress of the system? This system is stressful, and seniors, they want added stress, and people want to live in comfort. So I believe they should have ensured the seniors get the $60,000 that they promised the people. Because that action that they've taken has actually added stress to the seniors. And when it comes to this public assistance, this $3,000, what they want people make do with, I want to challenge our ministers, I want to ask them to take the salaries and give it away for 1 month and let it live on the $46,000. I would say I want 25.
Yeah.
25,000 public assistance for a month. They mustn't get no light bill paid. They mustn't get no free gas or nothing. All they want to do is they take their salary and give it away, or exchange with some seniors. Give some seniors their salaries, all their minister will run up them out for a month, and I want them to live on those monies. That I think that they've done an excellent job. Oh, it's all about people-centered. If you all believe this thing is so good, then it would be easy. It should be easy for you to just say, watch, me want me salary this month. I can take a senior old age pension. I can take somebody who depends on public assistance money, and I can live on it. I bet you they may last a day.
So you sum up of the budget in 3 words.
Waste of time.
Waste of time. All right. I want to thank you, MP, for joining us today in conversation. And we will continue speaking to the viewers now. We will continue to keep you updated as the days in the budget go by. Join us tomorrow again as we speak to our MPs. We listen to them on the floor and we speak to them after. Do have a wonderful evening. See you tomorrow.